Okay, the next one that we're going to be walking through is question 2, the bottle class. So this is one where we're basically going to be given some methods down below, and we're going to have to represent what those would look like and implement them. So the first thing is that we're told that bottle objects are created by calls to a constructor that passes in a double parameter that represents the bottle's capacity in milliliters, which is the maximum amount of liquid in the bottle. So we're going to be assuming that the value will be greater than or equal to 0. When bottle objects are created, they will automatically be filled to its capacity. And then we're told that it also has an update amount method, which is basically going to represent the amount of liquid in the bottle. That has a double parameter that basically tells us the amount of liquid to be removed from that bottle, with a precondition that the parameter is always greater than 0 and less than or equal to the amount of liquid in the bottle. If updating the amount would cause it to be less than 25% of the max capacity, the bottle will be filled and reset to that capacity. And then we're going to be returning a double that tells us how much will be left in the bottle after we've updated it. So down here, this is very helpful. It kind of tells you what it would look like. So you'll notice here, we're just going to be creating a constructor and then an update amount method. And this kind of walks us through this. And I'll create a driver for this just so we can kind of see what this looks like. So let's take a look at the implementation and dive right in. Okay, so for the constructor portion, what we notice, if you remember the problem, it says that we are given a capacity. This is what's going to be passed into here. And we need to keep track of, one, we need to always know what our max capacity is so we can refill it. But we also need to know how much current we have. So what that tells us is that we need to keep track of two variables, two instance variables that will allow us to do both. So the first will be the capacity, right? This will be always greater than or equal, right, to 0 based off of the instructions. And the other will tell us essentially how much we have left, so what the remaining amount is. All of these need to be declared private, and they're all going to be doubles because that's what's going to keep track. And so as far as this is concerned, the amount that's passed in, remember the problem said that when we first construct the bottle, the current amount that's in it will be equal to the capacity. So simply what we can do is just set both of these equal to the same thing, right? And this should be our constructor. So the constructor is basically going to be acknowledging the fact that, hey, I know that I need to have two separate variables to keep track of these. Now, this is the update amount method. It says that it takes in a parameter that is a double as well. And this as well is always going to be greater than 0. But less than or equal to the amount of liquid remaining in the bottle. So that simply means that we won't have to account for anything, any negative values. We won't have to do that here based off of what this precondition tells us. So for here, right, we need to first determine if updating would essentially cause it to be less than 25% of the capacity the bottle is filled. And if so, then we are basically going to reset it. So what we can simply do, the remaining amount, so this is the current amount that we have in, we can simply do something minus equals, and we can subtract this deplete amount. The reason why we can do this is because we're going to be updating it if this essentially becomes less than 25%. From here, right, what we can do next is essentially check that. So if remaining is less than capacity times 0.25, this would be that 25%. If this is the case, we simply update remaining amount, right, to be equal to whatever the capacity is. So this is us resetting it and filling it back up. If this is not the case, then we simply won't come into here and we simply would have subtracted it. You don't have to worry about any negatives because it tells us that this amount here will always be less than this amount, less than or equal to, and it'll always be greater than 0. So if this is 30, we know that this will never be 31. It will at most be 30, which is fine. And then from here, we want to return whatever that amount is. So we are simply going to return remaining amount. So this is how this would look. We do have a driver method to kind of walk through what this would look like, passing in the same values that you see there, just to verify that the numbers are correct. So if we run this here, we can quickly see at a glance that we do get a very similar output, 600, 500. Here we reset it back to 1,000, and then we created a new object, right, and did the same thing. So this is question 2 for the 2026 FRQ exam, and I will see you for question 3 in the next video.